Hey everybody, welcome to My Asshole Podcast. I'm Danny Vega.
I'm Sara Levine.
And we're here to talk about assholes.
Yes, I mean, we really are.
That's all we really do. But never literally, right? That would be a bad show.
I mean, I guess we could if I had either of us had a very adventurous weekend or something like that.
Right. Oh, I was thinking literally like a butthole, like, am I an asshole? It'd be like, clearly you're not because you're a human being.
It would be like that time that you wrote that post describing like the entire fall of Lucifer and you were like, am I the asshole? And it's like, no, you're Satan.
Right. Right. You didn't relate with that post though because you're Jewish and Jews don't believe in the devil, or are they the devil?
Wow. Well, I did study English, so I know about the whole Paradise Lost thing. So
what's Paradise Lost?
The whole Milton poem about Satan's fall from heaven.
Oh, yeah.
That's how other people learn about Satan.
Right. And then Dante did the 9 levels of hell, which is weird because isn't Dante, 9 circles. What does that mean?
Or whatever. I think I always thought that they were just kind of like concentric circles, like they were different levels.
Have you ever seen the original Resident Evil where there's the hive?
No.
So in the original Resident Evil, and don't even bring up the Resident Evil sequels to me, people. The original
Damn, that was the next thing I was going to bring up for sure.
Which has a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
There's this huge underground structure where they make up all the zombie shit. And that's actually what I picture in my head when I picture the circles of hell, the levels of hell.
Yeah, like a cone made up with circles.
Right. We should maybe have asshole levels, different levels of hell they can go to. Like there's like the first level would be like it's a parking lot and there's no
like
spots.
A Walmart parking lot? Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like purgatory. You're just driving around trying to find a spot. And then there's that fake out. You're like, are you guys leaving? No, we're not leaving.
Oh,
okay.
And then you pull in and it's just like a fucking motorcycle taking up the whole spot.
Always gets you. So, all right, let's start the show. How about that? Should we do it?
Let's do it.
We're going to start off with some Guess the Verdict. I got some good ones for you, Sarah. You ready for this?
Let's fucking go.
AITA for asking for a refund on my food because they didn't have the sauce I ordered, by you, Dr. Flanagan.
I would say no assholes here.
YTA says Hastur 777. He says that seems like a really petty reason to return an order. And I gotta say, I completely disagree.
Yeah.
He went to Mickey Donald's, which makes me think he's not actually Dr. Flanagan, but actually just layman Flanagan. They didn't have sweet and sour sauce. I say that's a reasonable expectation, folks.
And did he just, what was it, like chicken nuggets or something?
Yeah, he got his chicken nugs and he was like, nah, dude, I want my sweet and sour and I'm out. I came for a reason and it's a reasonable expectation.
It's not like it's one of those like when they had the Rick and Morty, like the Szechuan sauce when they brought it back.
A temporary sauce.
Yeah, that's one thing because they were like out of that shit real fast.
Yeah, it's like a staple. I am totally on the side of fast food workers and stuff. I get it. But it's like, look, they're at work anyway. So what does it matter to them that they have to refund it? Like, so it's an annoying thing.
Like $1 or $2. It's not a big serious thing.
Well, yeah. Well, no. Fuck the McDonald's Corporation. I hope they lose money every second. I don't care.
AITA for making a gay joke.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with the way this is. No, you know what? I'm gonna say NTA.
Ooh. Yeah. I mean, you're correct.
Yes.
So the top comment, NTA, and honestly, as a fellow queer, a gay calling something gay is like my favorite joke. Definitely seems like the friend in question was trying to seem woke, but fucked up and doesn't want to admit it. Basically, the gist was that this friend is gay. Not a lot of people know.
Okay.
Saw their friend post their manicure that was rainbow on their Instagram, and they commented, like, maybe replied to the story, and they were like, ha ha ha, that's so gay, which, like, yes.
But it was a rainbow thing?
Yes, it was a rainbow thing. Then the friend blasted them publicly, like with their photo, username, and everything, calling them a homophobe, forcing that friend to be like, hey, I'm actually gay. Can you take it down? And then that other friend was like, didn't respond.
Calling a rainbow gay is like not even a joke.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of legitimate. That's the flag.
Right. Like, that's just the logo. Like, that'd be like
Yeah.
calling the Ku Klux Klan racist and someone in the Klan is like mad at you. You're like, well, no, that's the premise of your organization, good sir.
I don't think that person was an asshole for saying that joke, and they shouldn't be forced to out themselves to prove that they're not homophobic.
No. I mean, no, because I do think it's offensive to be like, oh,
that's
like,
gay.
Oh, I like listening to musicals. Oh, that's gay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's offensive. But like the rainbow literally, like, what? AITA for warning. My slashed tire paid for 11 years after it happened by you, Dinkelberg 08.
Dude, yeah, you're the asshole.
Okay, I think we might fight a little bit here. Here's the story. His friend knew who did it. The person who lived with at the apartment complex, but like didn't tell him out of fear.
For 11 years?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I guess it came up, you know, it was the kind of thing where he like, it blew over and then he brought it up. He's like, oh, remember when we lived at the quadrangles? And the friend's like, oh, yeah. Actually, I knew the girl who slashed her tire. So anyway, he ends up messaging her on ye old Facebook. And she's like, I'm a poor single mother and I can't afford to pay you. And she has 3 kids and gives all these reasons, but she says sorry and confesses to the crime. So then he doubles down and says, I'm going to the cops if you don't pay. And she says, okay, give me your P.O. box and I'll pay you.
If it was me, I would have just pulled a Shaggy and been like, it wasn't me. 11 years after the fact. Also, what is really the recourse? The cops, there's got to be like some sort of statute of limitations 11 years later. That's fucking
Sarah,
ridiculous.
But aren't you one of these people who's like, the law is the law. This is a show about assholes.
Dude, no. I mean, it's 11 years. You should just let it go. It's like, what? A tire is like $300 or so $100.
That's a lot of money.
11 years ago.
So she slashed his tire. No. It's messed up.
If I were her, I would have just called his bluff and been like, okay, go to the cops, see what they're going to do.
Right.
Which
Did we
is
even guess the
nothing.
verdict? What did you guess the verdict was?
I said you were the asshole.
Okay, so you were right. Ding, ding. Sherpa Jones says YTA.
Sherpa Jones.
I know, right?
Wow, that's so funny to me. I don't know.
Because you picture a Sherpa who's like, hello, I'm Mr. Jones. Let me take you up the mountain.
Like a Sherpa mixed with like motherfucking Jones, like from Horrible Bosses.
YTA, you don't need the money and you're willing to put the threat of police action on a single mom who can't afford to pay you. It was 10 years ago. Don't forget to calculate interest /S, which means he's being sarcastic.
Yeah, to try to just threaten police action to strong arm someone when you probably don't have a case is pretty assholey.
I guess,
like the guy with the slot machine.
It's wrong. If someone came to me, look, I've never slashed someone's tires. I
haven't done it yet.
I can't think of a situation I've done like graffiti or something. But look, I think out of human decency, first of all, this is a personal attack, right? She attacked his car. There was some biff or some beefage, some guff, as you like.
Some guff.
So look, I disagree, Sarah. I think there's no statute of limitations on being a good person. Thank you. I mean, look, I'm trying to think one time I threw a rock at a house. Okay. It wasn't really a rock. This is kind of weird to explain.
So what was it?
It was like this heavy, like weight thing.
Okay.
It was about the size of like a big tennis ball.
All right.
And so for whatever reason, we were like, let's throw it. You know how kids are like, let's throw it and see what happens. And there was this is like in a shitty development in Casa Grande, you know, where most of my memories are, an unfinished housing development. So we threw it at this like Ramada that had like a tin roof. And
like a hotel?
No. Do you know what a Ramada is? Like a
literal... I thought it was a hotel chain.
There's another word for these things. But a ramada, it's like there's like 4 pillars and it holds up a conical. If you
say the word, it's not going to make me know it. But no, you're explaining it.
No, you don't know what I'm talking about. It's like a little fucking thing that white people sit in, and it's like at parks. What do you call it?
A gazebo?
Gazebo.
Oh my God.
Ramadas and gazebos not the same thing.
I don't know what a ramada is, so we can repeat it a million more times, and I'm not going to know until I look it up
right now because I'm pretty sure that I don't know what a ramada is either. Apparently, anyway, look, I threw it at this gazebo. It boomed off the roof, flies like it got so much air and hit some guy's shitty house because it's a housing development, and it made a huge dent in the gazebo. So that part was satisfying. So then it hits his house and he comes out and he's like, boys, what's going on? And we're like, nothing. And so we all said nothing. He went back into his house and then I felt super guilty. So I ended up going and being like, hey, I did this. I damaged your house. It was a gazebo bounce off hit. I'm very sorry. And he's like, oh, my insurance will cover it. It's no big deal. Anyway, I'm trying to think if I had done something like that and someone came to me
11 years later
and they asked me for $200. I mean, you know, I'm not a single mother, but I would feel guilty. And if they had me and I knew I did it, I would pay them.
I think he was the asshole, not for asking, but for kicking it up a notch and like threatening police action.
So you say everyone sucks here.
Sure.
So I threw this one in here. Just, this is obvious. This isn't part of the game, but I just had to talk about it. Somebody put Donkey Worker wrote AITA for playing an air horn sound every time the annoying person coughs on the train.
Oh my God, you're the hero.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
It's
I was
annoying.
like, what is wrong with you?
No, you're the asshole.
So I have a story about this because it's coughing. So I went on a cruise with my friends and we got a 3-person cabin because I'm a cheapo. So like it was like a 9-day cruise and I paid like $700. So I had to sleep on like a fold out. On the trip, I get a cold. And so I take a Benadryl and melatonin, like basically give myself a, you know, wicked freaking concoction.
Yeah, just like knock yourself out once a day.
So I can't really sleep. You know, and I'm coughing and I'm coughing. Finally, I drift off to sleep. Next thing I know, it's 3 a.m. and my friend, who's a bodybuilder, who's like pretty scary looking, like he's never like threatened me in any real way before, is freaking losing it, like yelling at me and like saying, I forget if he was saying like get out, but like I felt very threatened. And then I was like talking shit to him because like I'm on Benadryl, so I'm like kind of messed up. I'm like confused. I'm loopy and I'm angry because I've been woken up and I also wanted to sleep.
Yes.
So I just scream at the top of my lungs because I'm so frustrated. And then I went out to the balcony because I was afraid he was going to attack me. Anyway, so I obviously couldn't sleep on the balcony. So I ended up leaving the room and sleeping in like the solarium, which was basically like an outdoor space by the pool.
Oh my God.
Pretty long night. But yeah, coughing.
That's rough. So you were asleep and thereby not coughing and he lost his shit at you?
No, I was coughing. I was, that's why I said that. Cause I was like on this, you know, I was able to sleep. You can cough while you sleep. If you're like talented, like me.
If you're talented.
Yeah, it was an awkward morning and I was like super aggro, but like I got it. Like
I hate that.
He couldn't sleep. Like he's a super light sleeper.
But it's not like you wanted to be coughing. Like you weren't doing it out of spite.
But he was getting worked up because, you know, he was being held up till 3 a.m. And so we were kind of in, like, I was able to empathize with him because I was like, yeah, because I was literally so angry because I had finally fallen asleep.
No assholes here.
So thank you. All right. Well, we got a couple stories for you guys today. Our second story of the day, AITA, if I don't let my daughter put a lock on her door. But first... AITA for catfishing my underage sister on Tinder and humiliating her in order to teach her a lesson by you fun T, not funny, fun T _Tinder _prank. Last week I was using my sister Ashley's phone because mine was dead and I needed to call a friend to confirm plans. Dialing my friend's number, I saw a Tinder notification of some dude messaging her. Immediately, I asked why she's on Tinder. She's 17 and she grabbed her phone back and said, none of your business. I wanted to give her the Benny of the D. Maybe she's just swiping for fun. So I didn't want to go straight to ratting her out to our parents. To test her, I made a fake Tinder profile and messaged her to see if she responded. I asked a good friend from back in college who happens to be a male model, Kevin, if he'd mind if I use his pictures. He thought it was hilarious. Oh, Kevin, always down for a silly Tinder thing. I quickly found my sister's account. Her age was set to 19. Lie, she's still in high school. So I was definitely more suspicious of her now. I super liked and less than an hour later, she matched and messaged me. I set up a date to a fancy restaurant downtown for Sunday afternoon and told her we could, quote, head to my place afterwards, end quote. She was receptive and said she'd meet me there. She told her parents she was hanging out with one of her track friends and spending the night at her place. After she left, I told her parents everything and showed them the messages. They were pissed, and I suggested we all go to the restaurant. My dad and I just went instead and saw her sitting at a table alone, all dolled up, waiting for, quote, Jim. My dad went up to her and said, Jim's not coming. And she screamed and asked what we were doing there. I told her that there was no Jim and that it was stupid of her to be trying to meet grown men on Tinder at her age. My dad harped onto that and lectured her on lying and meeting strange men on the internet and being so willing to go back to a stranger's place. We were a bit loud, so people were starting to look at us, and my sister eventually burst into tears and ran out. I told my friends in a group chat the situation, and they all agreed it was hysterical. Except two of my female friends who said I was a, quote, effing dick and, quote, cruel to her. My other friends defended me and said she needed to be taught a lesson, wondering who's right and if I went too far, AITA.
Quick question. Do you think 17 is too young to use Tinder?
Obviously, there's age of consent because we keep talking about the law. And it's like, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. It's like, so if you're 17 and 364 days old, you're not old. You know what I mean? Like,
you sign up through Facebook for most of these dating apps.
Sure.
You only have to be like 13 years old.
Sure, to use Facebook.
To be able to use Facebook. Obviously, you can't be 13 on a dating app, but I don't really know what the official age is.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, look, if I knew like a 19-year-old dating a 17-year-old, I'd be like, yeah, dude, whatever. Like,
yeah, that's,
you know, that's
probably fair in most states.
Now, look, I'm going to be honest. I've been looking at a lot of age of consent laws, and that's not a great thing.
The FBI has asked him a few questions.
Well, it's not a great thing to say at a party. People are like, what are you up to? Where are you going on vacation? Well, I'm going to Thailand. No, but I was curious about the Epstein case because I was like, why
those girls were 14.
Yeah, well, I was like, why don't these billionaires just go to countries where the age of consent is lower and then this can be legal? I mean, if you're a billionaire, what's the problem?
Yeah, just charter your private jet.
And there are some countries where the age of consent is lower, but there's like a whole legal kind of morass around it. Like in Japan, the age of consent is like crazy. I think it's like 13. And you're like, what is going on?
That's yikes.
It is yikes. But then it's like there's actually like local laws that make it much higher almost everywhere. On the general subject, I mean, it doesn't seem that egregious for me for a 17-year-old to be on the Tindy hooking up with people her age.
And I talked to a lot of our interns, and a lot of them are on Tinder, which, first of all, why? College is its own Tinder. It's just real life Tinder.
College is Tinder, IRL.
But like, I was 17 my freshman year in college. If people are doing that, I don't think that's fucking crazy. I think it's, she shouldn't lie about her age.
You were 17 in college?
Yeah, because I have like an October birthday. So when I first got there, I was 17.
Oh.
So I don't think that's weird. I also really want to know how old the brother is, that he's like so involved in this girl's dating life. Like, that's very strange to me.
I mean, let's just go into their side a little bit. Okay. If I'm a dad, if I'm a brother, gonna be a little protective about the 17-year-old. She's in high school. And look, she wasn't using the app to meet someone her own age. She wasn't. This guy was a male model.
Well, okay, yeah, come on. You don't like need to use Tinder to meet fellow 17-year-olds.
Yeah,
like,
but
go to school.
That's a little weird. A 17-year-old going out with a 23-year-old. And it's not that she's going out. She's also, going to his house, spending the night at his house. I mean, I get why this is
It doesn't
alarming.
Say spending the night.
Well, he kind of stresses that the intent was there, right?
The intent, yeah. Which also is weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little
to do to your sister. Like, that's just fucking weird.
I mean, she was lying on the app.
Yes.
But who doesn't lie? I don't know. I think it's
who doesn't lie on dating apps?
If the brother had gone and seen her profile and then said, hey, I love you, sis, I'm a little disconcerted.
Yeah.
That feels like a good brotherly response.
Yeah. Because he was snooping to begin with, too. Like, he was on her phone, whatever. He got a note. He saw the notification. That's fine. Instead of just being like, kids are on Tinder now. He was like, let me just go through her profile to figure out what she's doing. Like, he had to take a lot of steps to figure out what she was doing on there.
Yeah, that could have just been a conversation.
Yeah.
So when I think of it that way, I'm like, well, no, this was clearly not the best route of action.
Not at all.
And everyone pretty much sees eye to eye on our old Facebook group. Autumn M says, you're not an asshole for being concerned for your underage sister, but to humiliate her in public and to create a scene and rat her out to your parents in such an unloving way is pretty shitty. Her behavior is dangerous and likely stems from some actual issue for her that now may never get healthily addressed.
I think that's taking it a little bit far.
Yeah, what issue does she have?
Exactly. We don't know. I know. Yeah, she's she's 17. Women are told like literally from puberty that like you have to date older men. Guys your age are way too immature to even keep up on your level. Like we're told this all the time. It's not that insane for a 17-year-old to like try to date older people. Now, given her age, it's creepy when you consider like the older people who would date a 17-year-old, but like her desires are not necessarily weird unless she's like trying to bed these like 40-year-old dudes on Tinder.
I mean, even that, I've been thinking about that. I've been working on a joke about that, you know, because that is the stereotype that if a young girl sleeps with older men, they say she has daddy issues. But who are we to say, right? Maybe she just likes older guys. Aren't there a lot of good reasons to like older guys? They're more mature. They're more wise. They have more money. Those are good reasons.
Yeah, we're just always told that like men, that they just mature way slower than us. So you're like kind of pushed to go after older guys. But then when you do, people say you have daddy issues. So you can't win.
Yeah, and I definitely see eye to eye with you on like, people are buying off more than they can chew. Kelsey R. NTA, she's still a baby. And imagine if she left to go meet some guy and never came home. Okay, but like, is she a baby? A baby? A baby?
Yeah. No, she's a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I see why dad would be I see why they would be alarmed. But
I see why the parents would be, because like that's your baby. I could be like 23 and go on a date, and my dad would be like, never.
It never fades. Sara C says her behavior isn't safe, but there are about 1,000 better ways you could have handled the situation. YTA, no doubt.
My entire thing was like, none of his impulses were necessarily wrong, and I understand the feelings, but there were about a gajillion better ways to handle this than to set up a fake date and then do this whole like gotcha moment in public. This entire thing hinged on shaming, and my initial thought was, when you do that to a person, they're not going to stop doing what they're doing. They're just going to maybe be more secretive about it.
And that is backed up.
So basically, I did this research. There's obviously all different types of shaming. The first one that came to mind was like fat shaming. It's been proven doesn't work to help people, motivate people to lose weight. And actually, studies have found that it does the opposite. That's not totally analogous. I did find an article in Psychology Today that just talked about shaming in general. And it said that research has suggested that humiliation is especially damaging when inflicted by an attachment figure, such as a parent or primary caregiver. So I'm like, this perhaps had the opposite effect. Basically, they say making someone we admire and love proud of us is important to our evaluation of self-worth. Feeling supported and valued contributes to our sense of trust and security, whereas feeling rejected, and I would argue shamed, increases anxiety and social isolation. So I just felt like this was totally the wrong way to go about this.
Memories of having been shamed by a parent have been found to correlate more closely with internal shame and depression than did memories involving others.
Double whammy of badness.
Wow. So that's a really, the son is like a young idiot, but the dad.
A young idiot.
The dad is really the big asshole. Because it's like, what are you doing?
I can't imagine my dad being like, oh yeah, I'm totally going to go in this plan to prank my own daughter.
Prank your daughter.
Oh yeah.
Damage her irreparably for life. Yeah, there's just no way to go about it. I don't think there was any way around that. Kevin Hendricks had some pretty specific complaints.
Is it the male model, Kevin? We'll never know.
We'll never know. He said, YTA for the butchering of my dad harped onto that. What the F do you think a harp does? It's not a freaking lamprey, dude. It's a musical instrument. Harping on comes from harping on the same string or saying the same thing over and over. Celine says, dude, that type of behavior terrifies me, and setting up dudes for statutory rape charges. That's so unfair. Yes, I definitely did this stuff too. Whoa, a lot there. I mean, that is true. And I hadn't really thought of that. And it can sound like a little bit men's rightsy to be like, but what about the men's?
Well, it does sound men's rightsy to be like, that type of behavior terrifies me. It's like, oh, really? It's like, that's what's terrifying to you? Okay, cool. Watch the fucking news. That's what terrifies you? Okay.
Yeah, well, and if you're a man and you're terrified, it's like, well, maybe don't make a habit of sleeping with girls who are fresh out of high school, Roger. That's awful. God.
I would get into this argument like literally on at least 3 separate occasions when like, do you know the whole thing with Tekashi 6ix9ine? He's a rapper. He was 19. He was caught on video in this sex tape with a 13-year-old.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. He fucking is garbage, but I got into multiple arguments with men, also incidentally all in Bushwick, about how like, oh, he didn't know. False. He knew.
13?
Have you seen the way 15-year-olds look on Instagram nowadays with their titties out, blah, blah, blah. And every single time I was like, no, I've worked with children. I have observed children. You can tell when someone is 15 years old. When you're a 19-year-old, you can tell. Like, I don't want to hear this shit.
A 13-year-old? My God.
You can tell when someone is 13.
Yeah, they're like bones aren't fully formed.
Yeah, they have fucking braces. Not all of them, but you can just tell.
Also, like, you listen to them talk and they say things a 13-year-old would say.
Yeah, so like, I don't know. I hate that argument. I'm like, you can kind of tell when someone looks like an actual child, and also if you're downing it, don't sleep with them. Maybe ask to see some ID. I don't know. Get a bouncer in there.
Jose G said, need more info. Did someone your dad tip the restaurant?
Dude, are you serious?
I just felt was another victim of this little punked.
Also the people whose meal was ruined by this weird hijinks.
You shouldn't shame your kids. Maybe shame.
Just like talk to them. What's the big deal? There's a million different ways you could have handled this that would have been better.
And OP did a little snarky edit and they said, and to the people who said she'll never speak to me again, we just finished playing FIFA for the last hour or so.
Okay, well, I hope she kicked your ass.
AITA for catfishing my underage sister on Tinder and humiliating her in order to teach her a lesson.
Yes. YTA.
So, Sarah, you were texting me. Now, this is Sarah and I's relationship now, everybody. We just sort of text each other about the individuals that we have to deal with in the world. You ran into a woman who threw a fit about gazpacho.
This lady. It was amazing. I was at brunch with 2 of my friends. It was restaurant week. Okay. So they have like, you got like a 2-course menu for like less money than you'd pay at the restaurant typically. We're sitting there, this table of 8 people. There are also like a couple of babies. They're getting their check. This woman starts like getting progressively louder and more agitated. I'm like, oh, I gotta start listening to this. So she starts just like going off on the waitress. She had many complaints. One of the complaints was, we all came here to eat together and there's 8 of us and we all got our food at different times. Another complaint was then that the fries were soggy, so they had to send them back, which also further fucked up the like harmony of their meal. First favorite complaint was that she complained her gazpacho was cold.
That's what gazpacho is.
Correct.
It is terrible. So she's like not wrong on some level, but
yes. And then she also, as the woman was apologizing, she was getting mad at her because she was like, well, that's just so scripted. Your apology is just so scripted. Like,
oh my,
I'm not even joking.
Your apology's too scripted.
It's like, ma'am, what do you want? You're being an asshole. They probably have a script for you guys. And she also was like, oh, well, you're just like, it's restaurant week, so you're just serving your cheapest food or your cheapest soup. And it's like, okay, well, you don't have to order off the restaurant week menu. You can order off the full menu. And then they tried to comp her dessert and they were like, well, we have a show. We don't have time. Like, that's the whole reason why we're here. And I was like, first of all, we're in Flatiron. Like, what show are you seeing around here?
Right.
I need to know the name.
She was the show.
She was the show. I really wanted to videotape it, but then I was like, this lady's going to see, and then she's going to yell at me. It's going to be a whole thing.
It. Well, we should audio record it next time.
I don't think it would have picked up, but you're right.
Maybe. There is a notion, and we've run into it before on the pod, in the case of, remember the douchebag who like tipped 18 cents?
Yeah.
And then the waitress like acted some kind of way. And and he's like, how dare you act some kind of way? And it's like, that's not part of the job about being a waiter or a server, is that you have to always act like everything's great. Always like, thank you for 18 cents. Like,
depending on the restaurant, unfortunately, in this country, sometimes it is like that.
Okay, no, I'm not saying when you sit down, obviously they need to be like, hey, thank you for coming to Shoney's. I don't hate you, obviously.
Okay, yes.
There's this idea of like this extra thing where it's like, oh, your apology acting isn't good enough. And it's like, well, no.
Yeah, it's lady, like, well, get fucked, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree. We do have this customer's always right thing. And initially, if in customer service, they do have to be gracious about apologizing if you're complaints are somewhat reasonable, but like, yeah, they don't have to sit there and like come up with an original monologue to your bullshit. Right. Oh, and the other thing I forgot, they ate all the food.
Oh, get out of here.
That was
lady.
The other thing. They ate all the food. So this poor fucking woman was clearly like, well, you're just making some shit up to get a free meal. You probably do this everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm not going to act like that you're a total saint right now.
Right.
Fuck that woman. I hope you're listening. It was that Burger and Lobster.
Awful.
The food was good though.
Oh, Burger and Lobster is pretty good. Yeah, so I actually did yell at someone about an apology. I just remembered because you know what? I think he was like hesitant to apologize and like just did nothing to fix the problem. So I had this really nice backpack being sent to me when I was a product reviewer, and it was like a $400 backpack. It was really nice.
Damn.
And the FedEx website said it was sent to like a CVS near me for the pickup location.
What?
And then it just wasn't there. And it was super confusing. The website was confusing. And they had like sent it back to the shipper.
No.
And I was like so angry. And the guy was just like, yeah, we're sorry. And I was like, okay, but like, I get that you're sorry, sir, but that's not the end of this.
Right. It's like you have to be sorry and then also try to do something to remedy the problem.
Exactly. And so I like kind of berated him because it was all I had. And I was just...
I just have this backpack and that's all I have to my name.
Right. I was like, sir, like, how do you feel working for an organization that treats people like this? And just
my God.
I was totally Karening.
I don't know what's a step beyond counting because now you just came for like
Danny Vega-ing
morality. Yeah,
that was my own level. AITA, if I don't let my daughter put a lock on her door, by you, throw a Y, 223. My daughter has recently turned 16 and, for a couple of months now, has been constantly asking for a lock to be put on her door. She says it's to keep her brother out, who barges into her room every now and then to bother her. But I'm not sure if the benefit is worth having the lock in place. I don't like the secrecy of her locking herself in her room, and I'm worried she's trying to hide something from me or that she'll take the opportunity to lock me out. I admit that I've forgotten to knock sometimes, but other than that, I see no reason as to why she'd need a lock. The way I see it, it's my house, and I am simply unwilling to have any locks put in anywhere. She's young and doesn't really know what she's asking for. So would I be the asshole if I don't let her get the lock installed?
Here we fucking go with the My House, My Rules. Oh, let's just change the name of the podcast at this point.
Yeah, My House, My Rule. Yeah, yes. The phrase your house, your rules at least 3 times in this comment thread. So
you could have used this on Guess the Verdict because if I had just heard that, I would say, oh, no assholes here. But reading this guy's rationale is making me lean towards he's the asshole.
His inability to see her side at all is definitely alarming to me because it's like, dude, like you can't think of any reasons why a 16-year-old would need a lock because I can.
Well, that's not it to me, actually. I don't think my parents let me have a lock on the door because my mom is so like, she just thinks things are fire hazards and she just wouldn't want that to happen. His total apparent lack of trust in his daughter is what's making me lean towards YTA. It's not like, oh, it's unsafe. Like, he's like, she's definitely hiding something in there.
And I just think about certain like bodily functions.
Well, you can just teach people to not barge in the room. That would have the same effect.
And that is a line that really triggered me because I'm like, this guy has a boundary issue.
Yeah, and so does the son.
He says, I admit I've forgotten to knock. No. And that just shows like you're not respecting her space. He doesn't respect her space. He doesn't even acknowledge that she needs space. I mean, look, yeah. I think, and a lot of people said this, so let me just say, Anna M says, you would be the asshole if you didn't. I had a lock on my door growing up like a knob lock. I don't think you should ever give a kid a deadbolt in case there is an emergency. Knob locks can be unlocked in case of an emergency. And that's exactly what I had growing up.
All right.
You familiar with the knob lock, Sarah?
I know how they work. Yes.
It's great. I think a knob lock is still reasonable. If you need to get in, you can get in, but it buys the person some time if they're being barged into for whatever reason. But come on.
If you just taught people to respect closed doors, you wouldn't have the need for a lock. And if that were the way we were going with this reasoning, then I would see it. But that's not where we're going. It's not the lock. You know what I mean? It's what the lock represents.
Right. And she needs the lock because her brother is disrespectful. Aaron B says, sounds like the convo you should be having is with your son.
Boom. Correct.
Sydney H says, YTA, she's at an age where she needs privacy. If she's making poor decisions, having a lock or not isn't going to change the decision she's making. But I agree with Anna that it should be a knob lock. People love the knob lock.
Also, does anyone have a deadbolt in their room? Is that a thing that rooms are equipped with? Right. That's ridiculous.
I mean, I've lived in apartment. I think that's a move that some like apartment complexes do.
In your room?
Yeah, because it's kind of like it's your room. and your roommates don't have access.
Okay, that's fine. I don't even have a lock in my apartment complex room.
Not in New York City, like in a college dormy kind of situation where you're like, your room A and it's your room. Got it. Sarah M says, YTA, the girl has to masturbate at some point, you dingus. She wrote
that in all caps. I just feel like that needs to be emphasized.
Sorry, let me take it again.
Yes.
Sarah M says, YTA, the girl has to masturbate at some point, you dingus. Is that an all caps read?
Yeah, that's not how I would have read it, but I like that.
Connie B coming in with a big old nasty hot take. I love good old Connie. NTA, those nasty teenage creatures are always up to no good. Your job is to make their home life so miserable they'll want to grow up and get out as soon as possible. Take it from a woman who has raised a few. If you give her a lock, then she'll want a mini fridge. The next thing you know, she's 40 watching the Gilmore Girls on the big screen while you hide out in your bedroom.
Oh, yeah. Mini fridges are the real enemy of this society.
I mean, look, I think there's a balance here. You don't want to let your kid have total autonomy. There needs to be like some respect of their boundaries, though, and let them have a little privacy. I mean, look, if your kid's doing coke in their bedroom, they're going to get away with it. They don't need your lock. They'll just go to the bathroom. They'll find a way. So it's like, let them have some respect, have the conversation. But like,
I don't think it's that big a deal. I also think if the dad really just doesn't want to have her to have a lock, then he needs to not barge in her room, punish the brother for barging in her room, and then boom.
He doesn't even mention that. He just glazes over that. He's just like, oh, the son barges into her room every now and then to bother her. But
it's like, don't do that.
Say something, Dad. Why isn't he being disciplined? I say put a deadbolt on the front of the brother's door. Cage that kid in.
Yes, there we go.
Bottom line, I think we agree. AITA, if I don't let my daughter put a lock on her door, I'm going to go YTA.
I'll also go YTA.
Now it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show, listener submissions. AITA, the asshole for blowing my nose at my desk. That's how they wrote the submission title.
Am I the asshole? The asshole. Yes.
I work in a pretty busy office with a lot of people around me. 4 people share large cubicles. Everyone in my cubicle is usually wearing headphones, but the guy behind me is the one who got me sick, so I don't give a F if it bothers him. But there's other people on the other sides of our walls who can definitely hear me. I should also note that I'm getting over a cold. I already work from home as much as I can this week, so I'm blowing my nose a lot and it's extra gross sounding. But also, if I get up every single time, I won't get anything done. So AITA.
My number one question is anyone actually bothered by this? Because by all indications, nobody gives a fuck. He hasn't said that anybody's mad.
Are they just self-conscious about it?
Self-conscious, or is this a validation post?
Yeah, you're right. I hadn't even thought of that. And like 4 people share large cubicles. I mean, come on. That's enough of a separation. That's muffled.
Unless this guy has like a permanent sinus infection, which I can relate to, and he's blowing his nose all the time, I think people can be reasonable and be like, oh, it's a cold, it'll pass.
Right. Crystal C says, NTA, what are you supposed to do? Sniffing up your snot every 4 seconds is even more annoying. I agree with that. Those people.
Yeah, sniffling sucks.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
Connie B, oh boy. YTA, disgusting. Always with the alternative take. She goes, even worse are the barbarians who blow it at the dinner table. Take your mucus to the bathroom. Ain't nobody want to hear you snot your brains out. I would be gagging on the other side of that cubicle.
All right. Well, most people on the other side of the cubicle are wearing headphones.
I'm not super grossed out either by like boogies like in a nose. Like it's just, I mean, I don't want to see it, but like, it's not a super gross sound.
I'm biased. I feel like I'm a frequent nose blower, so I really cannot comment. However, doing it at the table is gross. The dinner table is a little gross.
You say go to the bathroom to blow your nose?
Just like, just step away from the table. Just don't do it in like the vast direction of the food. Like just turn away.
Oh yeah, I turn away. Like what if you sneeze? You just sneeze.
You cover your mouth, dude.
Yeah, you cover your mouth and face a different direction.
Yeah, you don't have to like get up and go to the bathroom every time, but like,
That's
just don't be sitting here like while everyone's eating dinner. Like
Scotty J responds to Connie. He said, eating boogers is gross. Blowing your nose is a professional, hygienic way to clear music. To clear mucus.
And music.
I'm sorry, professional? Is it professional to blow your nose? That seems like a high bar, Scotty.
I know. Can we endorse that as a skill on LinkedIn?
Right. Brianna S says, NTA, I've worked with people who get pissed off about that stuff. One time I had something go down the wrong pipe. After a few minutes of it clearing up, I had a lady silently walk up to me and put a cough drop on my desk and then walk away. People are assholes.
Maybe that's kind of nice. I would be happy if my throat was like really scratchy. Somebody gave me a cough drop.
I think silently giving it though is a little shady. You got to be like, hey, I can hear you coughing. I have a cough drop if you want one.
Right.
That seems a little bit more.
Also, cough drops don't really work.
I mean, you've got to get Fisherman's Wharf or whatever that brand is. Have you
What
ever
is
had
that?
Yeah, no, I used to think the same like you. I used to
like
think,
a Halls is just a candy with a little bit of menthol.
I used to say that exact thing. And then I tried these Fisherman's whatever. I don't know what they're called. And these things have like a gram of menthol or something. And they like numb your throat. It's awesome.
Damn. Okay, I have one important comment. And it is that everybody here is the asshole because the correct verdict is no assholes here.
Oh, you're coming for the commenters?
Yes, no one else is an asshole. I need you guys all to understand this. It drives me fucking insane. By saying NTA, you are also saying that the other person is the asshole, but nobody here is an asshole since nobody was presumably even bothered by this at all.
Got him. Keeping the commenters on their toes. Nonetheless, we agree. AITA, the asshole for blowing my nose at my desk. No assholes here.
No assholes here.
AITA for asking my friend to cover her tattoos in my wedding photo. Do you have any tattoos, Sarah?
I don't.
I was hoping you did and we would argue more,
Nope.
But we'll see what happens. I love one of my best friends with all my heart, which is probably why I never told her how much I hate the look of tats. As a bridesmaid, we agree on a dress she would wear for the wedding, and I'm afraid to ask her to wear a shawl that is even provided, so that my future children do not grow up with a picture showing tattoos in our home. They're on her shoulders and she doesn't live nearby, so I don't have to see them much, and as much as I love her, I feel that the look will cheapen and somehow taint the memory of my wedding day if I have to look at a silly dinosaur and whatever else she's doodled on herself.
Yo, this is so harsh. This is nuts. This issue comes up so often in this subreddit. Am I the asshole for asking my bridesmaids to alter their appearance for one day of my life? But this lady is demonizing tattoos to an insane degree. Like, she doesn't want her future children to be exposed to tattoos. Like, ma'am, it's 2019. Like, my boss has tattoos. It's not a big fucking deal. Like, I know teachers who have tattoos. Like,
I know,
they're gonna see them.
I get it, but like, I don't know. I think tattoos are kind of trashy. I'm willing to be talked off. I'm just being honest. When I see tattoos, I go, oh, they're poor. I have that thought.
What?
I know it's wrong.
Tattoos are expensive.
I know, but like, I just think like, I don't know. I judge people for having tattoos. I don't think it's right.
Wild.
I want you to convince me that I'm wrong, but
I don't know how to convince you that you're wrong, because if this is what you believe and you're like, I don't know, 29? How old are you?
Here's what I think.
I'm like, I don't know what I could say to convince you.
Well, I haven't put that much thought into it. I guess I think, look, if your personality, if the method you've chosen of expressing that is by getting shitty art, and almost all of it's shitty. I do see good tattoos. If I see a well done tattoo, that might make me not have so many negative thoughts.
There's so many well done tattoos. I'll send you some Instagrams.
A lot are bad though.
Many are bad.
No, I would say most are bad. Hear me out. I'm like, this person is an adult and they chose to get a picture of a dinosaur on their body.
I don't think this person really had a dinosaur. I think this lady's making this up.
Whatever. I'm not saying this situation. I'm saying my general attitude toward tats. And I'm like, if that's the way you've chosen to express your personality, you must kind of have a shitty personality or not be very bright. And that's how I think of it.
Okay, that's kind of fucked up. I don't even know what to say. I've truly never encountered this before.
I just think it's kind of corny.
It can be corny, I agree. Certain tattoos can certainly be corny, but I don't think all tattoos are corny.
I don't think it looks good either. Like, I don't know.
I've seen a lot of tattoos that look pretty cool.
Yeah,
Except
no, but they
I've
look
seen
cool.
a lot that look shitty. So, I mean, a few.
But do you think it makes a person look better?
I will say that I think they can be intriguing.
Then why don't you have any, Sarah?
Because there's nothing that I personally love enough to put on my body forever. Also, my dad would kill me.
So you're
but
under
more
duress.
The first thing. No, I mean more the first thing. It's like I think tattoos look cool, and like I'm not opposed to getting one. There's just nothing that I would want to get. So like I'm not going to get one right now.
The closest analogy I can come up with, and this is pretty stupid, is
here we go.
Bumper stickers.
Okay.
It's kind of similar. It's like you drive around a car, you could express yourself, but
that's what Kim Kardashian says. She's like, well, why would you put bumper stickers on a Lamborghini? It's like, okay, Kim, if you're a car, you're like the plastic Hot Wheels car at this point. But anyways.
Well, yeah, and she's not
she
like,
looks great, but still.
She's not like a Lamborghini. She's really like a Honda Civic with like a fake huge ass spoiler.
Yeah, like she went on Pimp My Ride.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Yes, we agree on that.
All right. Look, I think I'm a little bigoted on tattoos, but I'm going to back off because when I really think about it, look, they're not hurting anyone. I admit some look good. Look, here, can I say this, Sarah?
Okay.
Let me have this.
All right.
If you're going to get a tattoo, people, just put a little extra thought. That's all I'm saying. I see a lot of tattoos.
I read this on Reddit. This is what I think about tattoos. And I really agreed with this person. They're like, if you want to get a tattoo, let's say today I decide I want to get a tattoo of a sunflower on my shoulder blade. I need to sit on that idea for an entire year.
Yes.
And if I still want that a year from now, I get it. But if I change my mind and decide I want something else, I have to wait another year from that day. So I think that's a cool rule.
I'm behind that.
But the bigger issue is like this lady is demonizing tattoos. She's so weird. She thinks they're going to taint the memory of her wedding day. And I run into these questions all the time on this subreddit and others and just like general wedding groups and blogs that I'm in. And what it always comes down to is if you're inviting someone to be a bridesmaid to your wedding, that's indicating that they are super important to you as a friend or a family member.
Right.
The fact that this person's tattoos are meaning more than your friendship is like mad fucked up.
I feel you there. It is really messed up because even with my bigoted views about tattoos, which I'm going to work on, internalized tattoo phobia.
Yeah, we all know that people with tattoos are an oppressed class in this society.
They are. I still think it's messed up that like this late in the game, she would bring it up. Now, I think if when she like sent out invitations or whatever, or when she did this process, she put it in as a little clause. Like, I would really appreciate you covering up any tattoos you have, or even not wording it that way. She could be like, not exposing any piercings or other extraneous body art or accessories.
No. I think the only way she could play this is number one, they're on her shoulders. You choose a short sleeve dress for everyone, or you make everyone wear a shawl. But also, if you're singling out one other person by making them wear a shawl, they're also going to stand out in your photos one way or the other.
That's messed up.
You got to pick a rule. You apply it for everyone. If it doesn't work, then you have to get the fuck over yourself, or if you really want to do this, you can have your photographer touch it up in post. But I think that's still even a little assholey.
To have it in post, take out the tats.
Yeah.
Well, this was a crazy Facebook thread. Over 130 comments. People lost their minds. Sarah P said NTA for wanting her photos to look a certain way, but definitely TA for the way she sees her friend. Oh yeah, she did do that diminutive thing of whatever else she's doodled on herself.
Exactly.
Oh, actually, hear me on that. What if she literally doodled them on herself like they're prison style tats?
I don't think that it's not on you to judge what anyone's tattoos subjectively mean to them.
But what if I wear a shirt that says, that has something dumb on it? Won't you judge me for that?
I mean, if you're a good enough my friend, then I'm going to put you in the wedding party. She clearly just doesn't like tattoos in general.
Bridget D says, for the record, you could have quietly solved this during dress selection. So that's very similar to what you said.
Yes.
Kevin Hendricks, dropping another Kevin Hendricks banger here.
Kevin, we got to get him on the pod.
We got to get him on the pod. NTA, your wedding can be as big of a narcissistic charade as you want. It's one of our most self-indulgent traditions to allow people to go to great lengths to settle long-standing grudges against their friends and family. This includes being petty about the tiniest transgressions with no consequences. After all, you are paying for dinner. If you want a cookie cutter Norman Rockwell baby boomer church photo, then your friend should flay herself. It's tradition.
Oh my God.
Your kids should learn the same in case they ever get excluded from a wedding because of how they look. Otherwise, they might get confused and think that a wedding is about more than aesthetics.
And we certainly wouldn't want that in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great comment. He's definitely skewering OP here. I mean, I think it's ridiculous, the idea that a child can't see tattoos.
And just in general, asking people to alter their appearance for your wedding definitely gets you into tricky territory. I've seen things like, would I be the asshole for asking my bridesmaid to dye her hair?
That's nuts.
Am I the asshole for kicking someone out of my wedding party because she's going to be pregnant at the time of my wedding?
No.
I've seen all types of crazy things. It's such... People get into this idea that like everybody should look the same. First of all, I don't even like that look. I think you should have some variety. I like when they do a little ombre with the dresses, whatever. That's my personal opinion.
I guess I feel...
But it just gets crazy.
I had the thought that like, I wouldn't want someone with pink hair to be on but I would never be friends with someone who had pink hair. So that's how I protect myself from that situation.
Go. Yeah.
That's sort of the bigger picture strategy.
Yeah. I think at best, if you want someone to dye your hair, then you got to pay for it.
And I have friends I love with tattoos, by the way. Don't think people that
Danny has a tattooed friend.
No, I got a lot of tattooed friends. I got a couple. And there's some people that have very tiny tattoos, It's like, yeah, I got a tiny little sun by my ankle. And
or
you're
like behind
really?
my ear. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, right. Sloan S. Where does this stop? Tell your chubby friend to lose weight before the wedding because her look doesn't fit aesthetic. Tell your friend with curly hair to perm it straight because it doesn't look as poised as you like it. Ask your tall friend to chop their legs off because her height is too distracting. I agree. I mean,
she's right. People just get on this crazy slippery slope.
You got to let go a little bit for your wedding. So I think we agree. AITA for asking my friend to cover her tattoos in my wedding photo. YTA. I tried.
You did.
All right, guys. Well, that is the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. A reminder that we do have a Patreon up, patreon.com/AITAPOD, patreon.com/AITAPod.
And also follow us on Instagram.
Rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. And also give us any feedback. Tell us what you think. And that's it. We'll see you soon. We'll see you next Monday.
We will.